Yep. Okay. Well, this is an experiment. As I've been doing some of these transmissions during this quarantine, here in Argentina we started this quarantine about 20 days ago. No, yeah, more or less. No, 2 weeks ago. And in the last week, I've been doing some transmission because I felt many different things. One is that with this situation we are all living worldwide, the world seemed to have stopped in so many aspects. Like many of us found ourselves at home, and I've started to see on the news and through many different reference in the media that they started to talk about time and the perception of time. So this is one thing that's been happening to people, that there is a disruption in the way we were living time in our daily lives with this quarantine triggered by this pandemic, and also a lot of information, too much information started to flow all over the net, and it became chaotic at one point. What to read, what to see, videos, news, memes, posts, live streamings, everything happening at the same time on the internet. And well, we've had this tool for such a long time now, that is the law of time, and is the 1320 frequency, and the knowledge in the 13 moon calendar, all the vision that was delivered by Jose Arguelles. And from this point of view, we can see this moment not as an unexpected moment in time. You know, we've always been waiting for when what we called the 1260 artificial time frequency will stop working. And I saw in the first days of this quarantine how for many people it seemed like you were running and you hit a wall, you hit a brick wall. And this perception of time, like everything, all the world stopped into one situation that is providing also amazingly many different aspects. Like, of course, there's difficulties, big difficulties for many people having to deal with this virus who takes lives, and this is painful. And it's also, when we look at it from the point of view of the planet, you see the level of contamination that we have. And then in many cities, you get to see the sky again, and many rivers and waters like Venetia or stuff get more clean. So this is multi-layered phenomena what's happening. That's what I wrote in that poem. One of the first days this whole thing started, when I say something like, maybe this is also a systemic phenomenon from the earth, and this virus is nothing but the agent or the accident that we found that triggered the gate for manifestation of something that's been floating in the air for such a long time, which is the direction of this civilization. And it's obvious that at some point it crashes. And I also imagined when I was talking about this with friends and family here, I gave an example of a building that you build floor after floor after floor, and the space has its limits for what you can build and keep balanced and standing on the ground for a building, for example. And at one point, if you will build a building too tall, it will naturally fall. And this is our time, 2020, and it's like a building in time that started on ground zero, we can say, and we are building floor after floor, and now the building is too tall. And also this artificial time has been speeding up, or DNA or biology, because time is biological information. And from the moment that we have not a time machine, but a machine that tells us the time, like the clock, and then we have an element into the human biology, and that determines the timing for the full system, and it's built on patterns and a mathematical radio that is not appropriate, because it's based on a circle, which is a figure of space, but space is no time. And you can see that easily when you consider that when they created the first calendars, they were based on the circle, and you have the circle divided on 12 pieces of 30 degrees each, and that's 12 months of 30 days each. Then you had 5 days extra in 1 year. So what that tells you is that you can have the division of the circle and 12 pieces of 30 degrees, and that makes a total of 360 days, but you of 360 degrees, that it's a full circle, but in 1 year you have 365 days. And so degrees and days are not the same thing. So time is a full different dimension from space. In 1 year you have 365 days, and you can organize this into the 13 moon of 28 days each, which makes a much more harmonic measure for time. And this is what's been happening with this law of time system from a long time, since the law of time was discovered by Jose Arguelles in 1989. Before that, he already had published books, amazing books like Earth Ascending or The Mayan Factor, where he takes the knowledge from the Maya, which is the 1320 matrix, the Tzolk'in, and explores the difference between the way our civilization lives and understands time from the way the Mayans did, and there's something there that says that because the Mayans had came to this planet much before us, long time ago, before all of this new Western civilization, that doesn't mean that they were less evolved. So that's something to consider, because their understanding of time was much more advanced than ours, and they will measure huge cycles of the Pleiades, of the different planets and stars and such, and you wonder why did they measure all of this? And from there is that one day at the Museum of Time in Switzerland, Jose was with his wife Leoidine, and they realized that the Museum of Time in Switzerland was a museum of watches, clocks, all kinds of them. And so he said, yeah, this is what our civilization calls time. And this is a frequency of time, which is 1260, which is the 12 months, 12 hours that the clock spins twice every day, and 60 minutes an hour, and 60 seconds every minute. Okay, this gives a timing frequency. And when all of these things that we're living today happened or started, time seemed to have stopped, and we are all at home, or most of us, but the clocks, they don't realize it. They don't know. So they keep running at the same speed. And this tells you that this is an element into our biology, because time is biologic information, and this is an information into our biology that it's not perceiving us. It's not aware. So this is the problem of a machine. And they say that in the ancient civilization before Babylonia, in the city of Ur, where now is Iraq, they will say that they had many designs for machines, but they wouldn't build it because a machine is like movement without soul. And this is what we have today as the seed of this whole forest of machines where we're living now, because maybe the clock was the first machine to be built, mechanical device, and then once it entered the human biology, it started to reproduce itself, and it grew, and it created from there a full world of machines. And us humans and animals and plants have feeling and have perception and have some sense that we can all get attuned to each other and in resonance and feel or perceive what's happening to the other, and get a sense of rhythm, and you can slow it down, you can speed it up, and you can have some kind of experience when things slow down. Like now you can adapt to it, and you can understand that this moment is at a different speed or something. but the clock keeps tickling, and that tells us that there is this ingredient in our biology that is informing us, but it's not listening. And so it's a one-way direction for this information. What's the time now? And we are all synchronizing to this machine and these coordinates. And this is a problem. And this is speeding up not only our DNA, but our minds and thoughts. And since the internet came, everything started to go faster and faster. And so now we have so much information flowing that is much more than what we can process with our minds. It's much more. And this creates mental disorders, anxiety, and whatnot. So I've been studying and practicing this information of the law of time since 2001, and then I found the human design system in 2013, a few years before that, but I started my experiment in 2013, and now it's 7 years from then, and it's almost 20 years that I'm working with the law of time codes also, and I see this is a very particular moment where these codes are more than ever needed. So it's important that we share these codes for the people who can, receive them. And, if the world changes so much as like it seems to be changing, and it's like the greed we used to be sliding our little bodies through disappears, and we need to get back to that subtle underlying greed that is natural time. And this is what the 1320 codes are about, connecting ourselves with natural time and natural cycles. And the real time, the 4-dimensional time, is so much different than the linear time. It's so much different because it's centered in the now. It's not about what comes next or what came before as much as it is about what's happening in the now. So there's so much to be said about this. And also when I found the human design system, and I thought that, there's so much work here to do to show how both of these systems can complement each other and interact with each other. So much. And it took me some time to learn as deep as I could about the human design system. And from time to time, I will make an article or a video explaining things and the amazing synchronicities between the messengers, Jose Arguelles and Raul Hu. And more people joined this research on this Facebook group and through the blog. And sharing comments and views, and communicating and saying, yeah, many people experimenting with both systems. And even if in the last few years I dedicated myself more to the human design system, I always kept this information on the law of time and work about it, and develop the different instances of connection with the human design system. And yeah, there's a few reports that I'm always I have it like on a shelf, ready to when it's waiting for the right time to share this information in some way. And it hasn't been happening, but now these recent events triggered, it's like some gates were opened somehow. We have, the world is ahead of some forks in the road. Like, I was reading this article by Charles Einstein. It's a very good one. And it talks about, we have a fork on the road ahead, about between the world we fear and the world we want. And maybe the purpose of sharing this information is that we can also understand that every one of us is steering the wheel, and it depends on the level of synchronization that we acquire as a global being that we are, as planet Earth and as the thinking layer of planet Earth, the direction that we will take as a humanity. And there are some issues to be discussed, of course, because the human design system is pretty much deterministic in some way. You just say no choice and you think that there's nothing to do, but we need to go deeper in that and understand that our cognition is also affecting the monopole and the direction we're taking. And Ra talked about it as well. Magnetic monopole, what is the driver in the human design system, is also integrating your cognition into the direction it takes. So I think I always wondered, how come didn't Ra and Jose have a meeting and some good talk about space and time? Because we needed them to find the common understanding. So that didn't happen, but it's on us that we need to get there, because I think Ra had his view on time, and in some senses is interesting and strong, but it's more what he talked about space. And Jose knew a lot about time. Time was his life. And maybe he missed the information about the human design, because it's also amazing. So the point is that it's different if we see it from the point of view of the human design system. What we call time changes if we apply what is the real time, the natural time, the codes of the law of time. It's different because it changes the meaning of the not self entirely, because what we perceive with our minds, if we are perceiving through natural time, makes much more sense than the distortion that we get from artificial time, artificial 1260 time. So if there's an artificial time, there's also natural time. And if the 1260 is the frequency of artificial time, then 1320 is the frequency of natural time, the way the Mayans measured it, and it's on our bodies. like the 13 main articulations and the 20 fingers and toes in our bodies. Yep, 20 amino acids, 20 solar frequencies. Every two of these 20 seals are coding one of the 10 orbits in our solar system. And the 13 galactic tones, the 13 measure articulations, and the 13 moons in 1 year. It all talks about a frequency of time and a matrix of time that is holographic and fractal in nature, and that it's more appropriate and is in resonance with the four-dimensional time. So I don't know if any of you are watching this live streaming or not, but video will be recorded and will stay on this group. I have here the code for the Zoom room. If any of you want to enter and share something also, because I'm from here, I can't read Facebook messages, but anyway, I might take a look at it also if I switch screens or something. So, okay. So I'm doing this experiment in Spanish every day, and it's very nice. A lot of people watching it and sharing it. And it's more a bit of a challenge for me to do it in English, and I cannot, it takes a lot of energy for me to speak these kind of things in English because it's not my mother tongue. So I can do it also from time to time because I think it's important, and especially I will do this, that's my intention at least, in 4 more days, because on April 9, it's Raúl's birthday, and it's also Jose Arguelles' galactic signature. So if Raúl will be alive, this will be his spectral monkey year, his blue spectral monkey year. And so that's an amazing synchronicity. And the next day is my birthday on 12 human, yellow crystal human, April 10. And I'm going to 43-year-old to become. Yeah. Okay. So this goes as an introduction, and let's share some of these codes now. Before this, wait. I'm missing one slide here. Yeah. Okay. Before this, let's see, for those of you who are new to the law of time, see how a 13 moon calendar looks like in his harmony, his beauty, its aesthetic, with 13 moon, 28 days. Every moon has 4 perfect weeks of 7 days each, 1 red week, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 yellow. Every first day of every moon is the first day of the first week, and every last day of every moon is the last day of the 4th and last week. So think of it as a measure, as a harmonic standard for measuring time, and relate it to the meter. And if you will have to build a house, you will need a good measure for it. So if we are building this house in time and we are on the 20th floor, but this measure is not accurate because January has 31 days and February this year has 29 days and March again has 31 days and April has 30 and so on. And 1 month start on a Saturday, and 1 month start on a Wednesday, and 1 month start on a Thursday, and so on. This is a disorder in time. And time is of the mind. And if we have a disorder in time, we have a disorder on the mind. Okay? it's pretty simple and clear, but the problem is our civilization is so much rooted into this wrong artificial time that to replace this thing implies changing everything into the way we see ourselves and life on earth. And it's such a materialistic world that anything that puts at risk the way things are now, the commerce and stuff, it's discarded. So this was presented as a peace plan for the whole world since 1992, and even to the UN and to the Vatican. And you know, they said in the Vatican, they said that if we will replace the Gregorian calendar, it will bring the world into a state of chaos. And where we are now, where are we now, right? It's full chaos. And this one is a much more harmonic frequency, okay? And there's time to, you know, get into it and understand the different layers of knowledge it brings. And this is the 019 matrix of galactic notation. And it's very interesting because, you know, this COVID-19 situation that was triggered in the year 2019, and this is the 019 code, and the 0 it's also 20. When you add a dot above it, the Mayan notation. And take a look at how, you know, the difference in this Mayan mathematics, there is such an intrinsic balance and aesthetic and beauty. It's like number is not only about quantity, like here, it's about quality here as well, because you have, you know, you have the line of 1 point, you have the line of 2 points, you have the line of 3 points, 4 points, bar. And vertical, you have also a sequence that goes from 0 to 4. And there's a limit in space to write a number. You have 4 and then you have a bar. And then you go upwards, okay? Upwards, it's like time, it's infinite. Horizontal, it's limited, it's like space. The problem is, on this notation, it grows in space, and that's where we are. We have overpopulation problems. And instead of telepathically going to other planets in time, we are trying to build machines and travel the moon and Mars and who knows where else. You know, we don't have enough into fucking up this planet that we want to make a new civilization in other planets and continue to spread this virus that we are, because we are the virus of this planet also. It's not hard to figure that out. But we can heal. We can heal, and that's the human intelligence, and that's the human spirit, that we can recognize the damage that we do. And that's different from this little COVID virus, because it cannot realize the damage it does. Okay? We can. Okay, so we have just started. The planetary moon is the 10th moon of the year. The year starts on July 26th, reference to the Gregorian calendar, and we are on day 2 of the planetary moon of the dog. It's the constellation for the Mayan. And that's the totem animal, the dog. how do I perfect what I do? Is the moon of manifestation and perfection, perfectionate. And we've just entered the first heptad or week, which is the red week. And it says knowledge initiates vision. That's the initiation for the red week. And on this second day, here you have the reference to Gregorian. It's April 5th. And it's Kin 7. We have just started a new round in the galactic module. And it's Kin 7, 7th day of the new spin. Okay. And it's the blue resonant hand. This is the blue hand, and this is the resonant tone, the 7. And there's a personal curiosity to this because some time ago I shared on this group an experiment when you take your Rave chart, and on your Rave chart you have the personality side and you have the design side, and you have 2 dates apart from 88 degrees. And so there's your birth date. For me, it's April 10th. It's red galactic Earth. That's my galactic signature. But there's also the date on the design, which is 88 degrees before. So it's about between 88 and 89 days before. And that's, for me, when I search on the dream spell and get the code of that, it's the white crystal dog. Okay, my design is the white crystal dog. And when I put those, when I put those together, the white crystal dog and the red galactic Earth, I get this skin here. It's the blue resonant hand. All right, so it's interesting for me that to make this transmission today and make another one in 4 days in Blue Spectral Monkey, that will be special for many reasons. Okay. And this here, it's the name of the day, which is a radial plasma, and we can go there some other day, but it's related to the root chakra. In the 7 chakra model, we have 1 radial plasma for every chakra here as the days of the week. So that's also interesting. Okay, here in the talking then, we are here, day 7. This is the line of the blue hand, and this is tone 7. These are 20 sequences of 13 tones. And this one here is the harmonic. It's second harmonic. 1 harmonic is for Kin. And we are on harmonic 2, and it's coded by hexagram 43, the breakthrough. Okay, so we can, with that, with the human design system as well, because the gate 43 is in the Ashna. It's like the 3rd ear, as Ra called it, is the insight, the gate of the insight. Okay, so we have 4 days also. You know, this information, the law of time, is presented like this is the talking, this is the patterns of light and sound, and this is what gets coded, like you can say the neutrino stream that codes the DNA. From here, you have 4 pulses of frequency that code 1 gate. That's very interesting, huh? So you can see the transits of the day in the human design system, but you can see also that the gate 43 is being coded this day in this harmonic 2, which is like remembering the elegance of integrity. How is it called? You know. And before this, I forgot also. I wanted to this and this. Okay, tiki. So this is the Adventure Wave spell. It's an application of the law of time to the sequence of 13 tones, the 13 moons, and one kin is like one measure of time that you can apply to 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. So that, what does that mean is that if this is 1 day, the wave spell is 13 days. But if the value of a tone is 1 year, this is 13 years. And if this is, you know, a century, you can measure 13 centuries. And the wave spell gives energy to every tone. Like here we have the magnetic gate, the first tone, magnetic, identify purpose. The second tone is the lunar, is the chamber, lunar chamber, that identifies challenge, is the lunar tone. Then you have the third tone, electric tone, to identify service. Then you have the fourth tone, which is the self-existing, to identify the form. Then you get to the fifth tone, the overtone. Then you take command. It's a tower, it's not a chamber, it's a tower. You know, gate, chamber, 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 tower. Then you have the sixth tone, the rhythmic chamber, is the equality of challenge. And today we are on the seventh tone, the resonant chamber, that is the attunement of service. We have service here, the attunement of service here, and the liberation of service here. And this is what we see on the pulsar code, this relationship, you see here, okay? And this is a cosmology of 4 dimensions contained in the wave spell. You have the 4th dimension of time, which is the magnetic, overtone, solar, and cosmic tones, and it's what rules the wave spell. Yeah, time is what moves space. So that is, you know, the 2 gates and 2 towers. And inside the wave spell, you have the 3 dimensions of space, which is life, senses, and mind. And these lines you see here are related to color in a wave spell. So the seals with the same color will be on the same pulsar. That is, we are now on the wave spell of the dragon, which is this one here, and the magnetic tone puts the purpose for the whole wave spell. So this 13 kin, these 13 units here will all function according to the purpose of the wave spell of this sequence, which is nurture the birth of the new. The dragon represents the inexistence coming to existence. You know, this mythic creature that from the inexistence can manifest, you know, the energy of the dragon. And it's also birth, is like the strong of the mother pushing a new birth. And this is what's happening on these 13 days. And the pulsar means that the magnetic dragon here, overtone, serpent, solar moon, and cosmic skywalker is the red root race that is initiating the dimension of time, because the red initiates. Then the white refines, and the white is the lunar wind, the rhythmic world bridger yesterday, and the planetary dog that is refining. That's what the white does, the first dimension of life. And today we are on blue resonant hand, that along blue electric night, on the electric tone of service, its attunement of service in the blue resonant hand, and its liberation of service through blue spectral monkey. The blue root race is transforming the second dimension of the senses. That's the pulsar code. And then we'll have the yellow root rays, like the self-existing seed, measuring the form and defining the form, the yellow star, yellow galactic star, integrating the form, and the yellow crystal human, my birthday, universalizing the form through free will and wisdom, like the human. That's the energy of the human. So we have flourishment, elegance, and wisdom and free will. Maturing the third dimension of time. Of mind. Maturing, ripening the third dimension of time. Mind, time. Well, time is of the mind, they say. So yeah, it's also like you have time, like the matrix, the radial matrix, but the first dimension where time impacts is on the third dimension of mind. So time is of the mind. But time itself is a self-existent dimension. It exists in itself, like a radial matrix, you know. Don't want to get too complex on that, but that's what it is. Another thing we've been doing is to watch at the planetary holon. This is the holon of planet Earth, and it's like an icosahedron divided in 20 zones, coded by the 20 seals, and we send a telepathic pulse of healing and consciousness to the day, to the area, the zone of the king of the day, which is blue hand. So we are sending today a pulse of healing and realization, accomplishment, that is the blue hand, into that zone in the Pacific and Hawaii. Yeah, to all my friends in Hawaii, like Ava and Berushka. Yeah, there you are. Here we're and John, of course, and yeah, everyone there in Hawaii. All good friends that I've met through the human design system, and we are sending you a pulse of healing today to your son. And this is the central family, yeah, the core family: blue hand, yellow human, red earth, and white wind. And then we activate also this equatorian line and like the gravitational field, and we activate this blue electromagnetic line here with the blue root rays. And yeah, we also have the chromatic, which is more advanced. You know, here it says 73 overtone chromatics on 1 year. Chromatic goes from here, you know, seed, serpent, world bridger, hand, and yellow star. This is the chromatic of the flourishing, self-existent flourishing of galactic art. So we have this one. Every day, if you see it, it goes like this, and like this, creating 3 fields: gravitational, electromagnetic, and biopsychic. You know, and this is the holon of the Earth. What a great program to have now. Very important to keep the electromagnetic grid of the Earth now that it's, you know, one of the theories around is that all this mess happening right now has to do with 5G antennas. And I don't know, but I think that, you know, they say that virus many times a reaction of the cells to intoxication, and that could come from, you know, electromagnetic changes in the environment. So that makes sense to me. I don't want to, you know, put that as, you know, a truth or a theory of or say this is what's happening, but, you know, makes sense. I still don't know, many explanations are possible. And one of the things that we'll see is that there will be some kind of discussion in the world, you know, to place a truth or a reading of, yeah, no, what happened was this, but, you know, can we trust what they tell us? I don't know. Okay, and so this is also to show you that it's on the body, on the human body, like in the middle finger on the right feet, on the right foot, and the blue hand, you know, it's within us, with the planet here, and also the blue hand along with the yellow human are the codes for planet Earth. You know, every two seals code one planet in the solar system. So in this way, we get to unity consciousness from the solar system, the planet, and our body. Okay, this is a holographic fractal system of measuring and living time. You can't imagine what effort is making me for me to say all these things in English. I hope you enjoyed it and make good use of it. Okay, so I need a glass of water. Give me just one little moment. Nice. Okay, so this is called the Fifth Force Oracle. And it's the king of the day, blue resonant hand, with 4 different powers that put it on its place. We have the analog power, we have the guide power, we have the antipode power, and we have the occult power. So let's see. The analog power today is the yellow human. It's like the wisdom that is supporting the energy of the blue hand. First of all, let's say what is the energy of the blue hand? It's accomplishment. And the blue resonant hand is accomplishment through attunement to service. This is what we're doing today. And it has a poem. Every king, every day has a galactic poem to say to attune yourself to the energy of the day. So today will be, I channel in order to acknowledge inspiring healing. Okay, I channel in order to acknowledge inspiring the heal or the healing. I'm not sure. I seal the storage of accomplishment with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of self-generation. That's the storm here. Okay, so the mission of today is to attune your service to acknowledge and heal and accomplish through that. And what helps you is the energy of the human, the analog power of the day, which is free will. Okay, the power of free will lets you do whatever you have to do. Okay, and don't let the mind questioning you. Is this right? Is this wrong? It's your free will. You're free to do it. Okay, and do it with wisdom. That's what the humans say. And influence other people. It's okay. The human is telling you, yeah, go there, channel the healing and do your accomplishment and influence each other. That's a human thing to do. And what guides me through this is the power of the blue resonance storms, transformation, self-generation, energy, and use the energy to channel the healing. And also know that the blue resonant storm was the code for the year 2012. Very important to mention that, because that's what's guiding us today. I mean, 2012 we left it 8 years back or 7 years plus back, but it's still here as a guiding power today. And the antipode, the challenge of the day, is the red earth, the red resonant earth. I am earth, so I am challenging the day through evolution and synchronization and, you know, evolving navigation. This is what we do with all of these tools. We want to navigate time, and to navigate time, we do that through synchronizing ourselves. And also every day there's a hidden power, the occult power of the day, which today is the wizard, the white resonant wizard. And this is a year of white wizard. This is a year of white magnetic wizard, and it's about enchanting timelessness with receptivity. So these are the powers of the wizard, you know, like be receptive in the now, open your third eye, and this absolute void, put a spell on it and make it meaningful. Put your, you know, your magic, your enchantment, your spells over this theoretical absolute void that is this very present moment. So what's the spell? We are coming out from the spell of history, you know, and we are entering the dream spell. Enter the dream spell. Okay, let's enter the dream spell. Natural time. Okay, and this is the only day in the wave spell that all five seals in the fifth force oracle have the same tone. The rest of the days, because this goes in different directions. The hidden power and the king of the day goes like opposite directions. So tomorrow will be tone 8, but this one will be tone 6. You know, you'll know more of that later. Okay. And finally, let's take a look at the human design system, because also I wanted to make this group both, you know, talking about coming from different directions. It's like people coming from law of time and people coming from human design system. And I wanted to say, like, you know, let's meet here, let's synchronize with each other and see what comes out from this. And these are the Rave transits for today. The sun, and it's on the gate 52, 51, line 2, gate of shock. And it's about how do we respond to shock. And line 2, it's called withdrawal, you know, it's withdrawal today. And every day it's different line for the sun. And the earth here, and it's, you know, today is a day of blue hand, so it's good to see the energy of the earth, because it's what the blue hand is coding. It's here on gate 57, gate of intuition, you know. Yeah, I have, let me see 1 second here. I have the Rave Ching, and it says, you know, gate 51, the arousing, it's the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. Line 2, withdrawal, the recognition of the mechanics of shock that indicates when withdrawal is the only logical action, the instinctive withdrawal when the power of the ego is threatened. That's Mars exalted. And Mercury on detriment says, being too smart for one's own good and rejecting withdrawal in the vain belief that one can outsmart natural forces. The egoism to reject withdrawal and face possible defeat. This has to do, you know, we can relate it to this quarantine, and many people, accepting it and staying home, and many people not accepting it. And also, presidents in different countries taking different decisions. And we see the results, unfortunately, what we see is that those that have underestimated the virus are paying the consequences. So I am lucky to be in a country like Argentina, where we have a president that was much aware of what was going on and make a law that we have to stay home already for 2 weeks now. We took it early, so we don't have that many ill people like in other countries, fortunately. And we can also watch the gate 57, gate of intuitive insights. The hexagram 57 is the gentle in the I Ching, and it says the extraordinary power of clarity. And the second line is called cleansing, and it says the clarity to establish proper values and ideals must be accompanied by resolute determination to maintain them. Venus exalted, the perfect cleansing through inner realization, the possibility for proper values and ideals through intuition. And the moon on detriment says a superficial cleansing that tends to hide the dirt underneath the carpet. The possibility that the depth of the intuition will be treated superficially. Okay, the cleansing today, withdrawal and cleansing. That's for today. The energy in the transits. Yeah, the energy in the transits. And yeah, of course, there's a lot more we can talk about the transits, because we have Pluto conjunction with Jupiter. So we need to read that line, because it's a moment that Pluto is the truth in human design system, and Jupiter is the law, and Pluto it's a very powerful mutative force that is mutating the law, and it's standing on this line, which is the gate 61, line 5. So gate 61, the hexagram 61 is the inner truth, and it's the gate of mystery, and it says the awareness of universal underlying principles. And the fifth line, influence, all right, it's aligned with the power of the yellow human, which is the analog power of the day. It has Saturn exalted. It says the enlightened father figure whose recognized wisdom and powerful assertion can mold a generation by its influence. The pressure to know that may result in influence and wisdom. And Mars on detriment says a tendency in power to want to enforce compliance to ensure lasting influence. The pressure in knowing to resent challenges and demand acceptance. So yeah, this is where Pluto and Jupiter are meeting in the mystery of the inner truth and the influence about the energy of the father communicating and influencing their children with its truth. And yeah, there's a limit for that. I mean, I have a daughter, and I tell her things, and then it's her free will to take them or not, something like that. We can make all kinds of understandings on that. And we still have Saturn also on a fifth line on gate 60. Gate 60 is the limitation, and it's already in Aquarius, and it's putting on us a lot of pressure to find the new order of things, because that's where the gate 60 is pointing to, the third gate, which is, the gate for ordering. All right. So it's the gate of ordering, and you know, difficulty at the beginning. Yeah, that's what I didn't. I wasn't remembering. And the gate of ordering, and yeah, I'd like to see. I like to see also the fifth line of the gate 60 before completing this transmission, and because that's where Saturn is standing, and is the gate of limitation. It says the acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence, and it's the fifth line is leadership. All right, and Neptune exalted says the awareness that the destruction of the old limitations simply creates new ones. Rai used to talk a lot about this. You know, you don't accept a limitation, you break a limitation only to find a new one. And it says this results in behavioral patterns that demonstrate this understanding through actions and enhances leadership potential. This results in behavioral patterns that demonstrate this understanding through actions and enhances leadership potential. The energy to handle a lifelong process of dealing with limitations. And Jupiter on detriment says, where the natural desire for expansion, when limitations are essential, creates confusion from the top. Expansive energy that cannot handle limitations. So you better stay cool. And you know, you can find the energy for leadership if you only accept your limitations. All right. Okay, let's leave it there. And just, I want you to, you know, get this image of the rainbow, but we'll leave this meditation for the 20th day of the moon. This is a rainbow bridge, circumpolar rainbow bridge, and it's a symbol that we can join each other and be one in one dream for healing planet Earth, and you know, and enter a new time. Okay. And also there will be a worldwide meditation, changing timelines on White Magnetic Wizard. That is April 12th on the Gregorian calendar. And I let you know more about it next time. You can also check this page here, livingtimescience.com, or you can also go to www.lawoftime.org and find out more about law of time and all these things. Okay, and let's put this symbol of peace to the little virus that is making such a mess in this planet, and let us spread peace and make peace contagious. Make art that is contagious. May spirit be contagious. Make love be contagious. You know, that's a prayer for us all. And yeah, I forgot to translate this. This is synchronic moment. I'll do this now because this is a test drive. I can do things, you know, live. Let's put it this way. And yeah, synchronic moments. Okay, this was a synchronic moment, and I hope you stay synchronized and attuned to your time space with your heart. And let's end this meditation transmission with the symbol of peace for planet Earth and a double circumpolar rainbow bridge, you know, to symbolize the healing of the Earth and the evolution that takes us, you know, to a new level of consciousness for this planet as one being, one mind, you know, one planet, one love. Yeah, one life. All right. Okay. Thank you all for sharing and subscribing and watching and listening and yeah, being there. We call this the biosphere noosphere transition, like the realization of being one mind, one planet. And let us close with one thing that Jose Arguelles said in his last book, uh, Manifesto for the Noosphere. It is I am one with the earth, earth and I are one mind. In Lak'ech.